Hi again. We will continue with this job application, which is part of formal letters, which is again part of formal and informal language. This is lesson two, and these are your learning objectives. Eh, Etter du har sett denne videoen, så kan du formatere og skrive formelt brev eller en jobbsøknad da, etter gitte kriterier. Vi så jo litt grann på formatering sist. Og så kan du ta i bruk struktur for brev, faste fraser, og med det utvikler du evne til å uttrykke deg skriftlig på engelsk. Og så tilpasser vi innhold til formål, mottaker og situasjon gjennom å skrive søknad basert på tolkning av stillingsannonse. Og akkurat det siste skal vi jobbe litt mer med i timen. Jeg skal bare vise dere helt kjapt hvordan man kan finne ut hva man skal skrive i en jobbsøknad. So the structure of this lesson is I will give you a practical example of structure. We will have a look at politeness and useful phrases for for formal letters, but also for job applications. We will take a closer look at language or word types, and we will look at a job ad. So here is an example of a job application. It's John Anderson again, trying to get a job at Sunset Retirement Home. And this in this part we will take a look at structure first. So to begin with, we have this here, which is called the heading of the letter. We work with that. We have the sender's address here in the right top corner, and we have the recipient's address here just below the sender's address, but to the left side. And then I chose to place the date on the right side, but always write the month as a word because it looks better. And remember that in Norwegian we put a punctuation mark behind here. We don't do that in English. So always be consistent. If you say 14 October 2020, use the same style in the text also, so just pay a bit attention to that. The next is the fixed phrases. If you say, Dear Madam and or Sir, because in this case, John Anderson does not know who is the manager of Sunset Retirement Home, and then he has to sign off with yours faithfully. If he knew the name, if he was applying to, for instance, me, he could say, Dear Mrs. Jensen, and then he would sign off with yours sincerely. And this is the body of the letter. As you can see, it consists of a couple of paragraphs. To begin with, you state your purpose, and this is to apply for the position. If you want to complain, you say, I would like to complain. So just state your purpose in the very beginning of the letter. You work with the content. This is just one way of doing that. You can list, tell a bit about yourself in the beginning. Some information that is relevant, your previous experiences, say something about references, your interests, and then you need to tell why you are good for the job. Why is this job the right one for you? What could they benefit from hiring you instead of someone else? And then tell something about your availability. In this case, John Anderson is still a student, so he is not available on weekdays. He's available on weeknights, and he wants to preferably work in weekends. But he is also flexible. And then he says something in the end here before the closing and the signature. He says what he wants from them, and he wants to hear from them to have an answer to this letter. This is what he wants. So this it is a bit difficult to see here in this picture, but I also provided you with the exact same list here. So here are a couple of suggested phrases for formal letters, a couple of opening salutations, ways to start off your letter, and then state your purpose. Is it an inquiry or a request? Are you apologizing for something? Are you complaining? Or are you applying for instance, a position? Here are a couple of words that you can find useful for emphasis, for addition, for contrast. These are just technically linking words. Here are a couple of polite phrases. So this is what we would normally say if we spoke in an informal way, and this is the preferred formal version of the same meaning. A couple of closing remarks and what you want to in referring to future contact, and then best wishes, best regards only if it's a close business contact or a friend that happens to be the recipient of your formal letter. So to take a little bit closer look at this particular letter, the yellow words here are linking words or filler words that create cohesion and flow in the letter. So I have marked them in yellow, and I've also tried to point to all of them in regard, furthermore, as a result, in addition, and in my opinion. So take use of a couple of these linking words. It will make your letter look better, and it will create more flow and cohesion. So the green words are typically polite words and phrases. So this is very polite, dear madam and or sir, and yours faithfully. I spoke a bit about that in my last video. That in Norwegian we find it difficult to say kjære herre og frue. It sounds a bit too posh maybe for us, but this is if you don't say that, if you don't write it like this in the formal letter in English, you would come across as a bit rude. Also, be a bit passive. I would like to apply instead of I am applying, because this more indirect way to go is seen as more polite. Also, I am looking forward to hearing from you. So say something about what hearing from you would do to you. It would please you. So that's also a way of being polite. This polite closing as well. And in here, I marked it with a square here because these are the positive words. There are a lot of positive words in job applications because you really want them to hire you. So I have tried to mark out a couple of positive words here: brilliant, stay fit, energy, suits me well, I enjoy, caring and warm, flexible. So you should take a look at the job ad to pick your words, but they also have to correspond with who you are. So if you're really going to work with something, I think the blue words are the ones that you should focus on because they will tell you a lot more about who you are than if you just nail the structure. So here is an example from britishjobs.co.uk, and they are searching for healthcare assistants. And this is a very small and easy job advertisement. And they are asking for an enthusiastic and dynamic healthcare assistant or assistants for agency work in Birmingham. So I have marked here what are the positive words in this job ad. So they want enthusiastic, dynamic, they want experience, they want someone who has excellent communication and interpersonal skills, and they want someone who's committed and dedicated to the role. So you might want to mirror that in your application so that they actually see that what you have is a reflection of what they want. So this is a brief, very, very brief analysis of a job ad. Okay, so good luck on working on your job application.